What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Too Pop to Handle. I'm your host, Andrew Nucatola, your pop culture best friend. And as always, I hope you guys are having a fabulous week. I hope all my girls, gays, and theys are having a fabulous Pride Month. It's kind of crazy. New York Pride, which is the last Pride of the month, is literally next weekend, which means Pride Month is almost over. I feel like this month flew by as fast as June came. Like, we blinked. I feel like it was New Year's. We blinked. It was June, and now we are more than halfway through the month. Like, I don't know where time is going, but it is flying by. But yes, I hope everybody's having a safe, happy Pride Month. As you guys know, I went on a very long bender last weekend. Guffball, Charlie, and then we just decided to keep it going. Like, we went out Thursday, Friday, we went to go see family. Saturday, we came home. We went out Saturday night. Actually, funny story, we got last minute tickets to go see Paris Hilton Saturday night do a DJ set, and I was so excited because if you know me, you know that like the Y2K It Girls are like my favorite niche pop culture category. And so we got tickets to go see Paris. We were so excited. Went to our friend's house. We went in her pool. We like drank. We swam. We ended up pre-gaming at her apartment by watching music videos like every gay person does. And we never made it to Paris. We just had so much fun pre-gaming that we just let the pregame be the night, which honestly, sometimes it works out better. Any of my girls listening who were at my birthday party, you guys know that like we learned our lesson that like you don't always need to end the pregame. The pregame can be the whole night. So yeah, we didn't make it to Paris, but we did have a very fun weekend. It was like a perfect mix of still continuing to have fun. We saw family, we saw some friends, partied a bit, relaxed a bit. Oh my God, we finally tried. If you're on TikTok, pop-up bagels, which I feel like everybody has seen is that bagel place that you tear the bagels and you dip it into the cream cheese. They just opened one on the Upper East Side, which is closer to us than downtown. So we decided to go over there on Sunday. Figured we would like brave the line. First and foremost, it's so worth the hype. I was very nervous that it wasn't going to live up to the hype and like TikTok was just blowing smoke up our ass. It was delish. The line took maybe 15 minutes. I was shook. I kept seeing TikToks of people being like, I waited in line for an hour, 2 hours for bagels, which I'm sorry, there's no bagel in the world that is worth waiting more than 15, maybe 20 minutes for. So if the line was taking that long, we were out. But thankfully, it was quick. It was delicious. We had a fabulous little Sunday. We reset. We had breakfast in the park, cleaned the apartment a bit. I got some work done. Like, it was just like, it was the perfect way to wrap up the weekend and kind of like forgive me for my sins from the week before because it was like, I don't know who I thought I was or what I was doing. I don't know. I was just nonstop. It was crazy. But like I said, Pride Month is coming to an end. So next weekend is New York Pride. So I'm sure we'll have fun stories. We have some fun things planned for next weekend. So I'm very excited. But let's not jump ahead. Let's enjoy the moment. Speaking of Pride, two little gay tidbits before, we even start the show, which we love. Thailand has become the first country in Southeast Asia to legalize same-sex marriage. So happy Pride. It's about damn time. Jump on the bandwagon. We love that. And then piggybacking off of last week's episode, if you didn't listen, hello, what are you doing? But secondly, I was talking about the Teletubbies because they were on Drag Race, and I was like, how the hell do they become gay icons? And like, what is the lore behind that? And I actually had a bunch of people tweet me, DM me, like more than I expected, and I got a bunch of comments on the reel and TikTok that I posted telling me why they're gay icons. I was like, okay, let me educate the people because now that I'm educated, feels like it's my duty to, give it back to you guys. So essentially, what had happened was Tinky Winky was at the scene of the crime. In like the late 90s, people started speculating. This is the craziest thing. People started speculating that Tinky Winky was gay because he was carrying a purse. He had spoken with a male voice, which I don't remember the Teletubbies speaking. I don't know. He was carrying a purse. They thought he was a boy. He had a triangle on his head, which I didn't know that was a sign for pride. Maybe I'm just like a bad gay. I had no idea that a triangle was a pride symbol. I don't know. But so this has been going on since the 90s, and they kind of just capitalized on it recently and just like ran with it. If you also didn't see, the Teletubbies did comment on my reel, which like kind of exciting. Like baby Andrew was freaking out. But just like so silly that people are assuming the sexuality of, are they aliens? Whatever they are. Like people really have hated the gays forever. And like, I would hate us too. Like, we are fun, we're cute, everybody wants to be us, everybody wants to come to our clubs. We have the best music. Our bartenders pour us three cocktails in one. Like, the gays really are like kind of at the top of the triangle. So like I get why people would hate us because they want to be us. But that being said, we know why. The Teletubbies are gay icons. We love to see it. And yeah, I just had to, fill you guys in, give you a little pride update. We're feeling too proud to handle this month. The gay is just overboard, which we love. Oh my God, I'm even wearing a little rainbow moment today. I didn't even plan that. It just happens. I don't know. That being said, we have a lot to discuss today, and I actually like I think the universe was looking out for me when the news that broke today on recording day. This literally happened this morning. If you follow me anywhere, you know what I'm talking about. We will get into it in just a moment, but you guys know the drill. We start every episode with my Drew releases, my new releases of music from last week, and the ones coming up this week. And I'm going to be completely honest. The only new release we had last week was Normani Dopamine, and I haven't even pressed play on it. I am sorry. I warned you guys. I told you. It is just not high on my priority list. Maybe that makes me a bad pop culture podcaster. Maybe it's just like I don't know. Like there's so much music out. I can't take Brad off repeat. Actually, funny enough, I use the app Airbuds, which if anybody has it, feel free to add me. I think my username is Andrew Nucatola. It's always so fun to see like what everybody's listening to. And last week, my weekly recap, usually they give you five artists, I believe. I only had two. Charlie XCX and Sabrina Carpenter, which does feel correct because I've literally only listened to Charlie XCX and Please Please Please. That's it. Like I've listened to nothing else. The proof is in the pudding. I don't know what to tell you. I will listen to Normani's album eventually, I promise, but it did come out. What's crazy is I haven't really seen much about it because there's no promo and it didn't do well streaming wise. I don't know. I'm not even getting into it. But coming up this week, we have a very exciting release, which is The Boy Is Mine remix by Ariana Grande featuring Brandy and Monica, which is genius. They were in the music video. Obviously, The Boy Is Mine was, I think it was number one for like 18 weeks when it came out, which that coming out in like the 90s and spanning, and I'm pretty sure it was 18 weeks, is crazy. So, obviously, a huge pop culture moment when it came out, huge pop culture moment when Ariana Grande kind of played on it with her own thing, huge moment when they were in the video, and it's going to be an even bigger moment when the remix comes out this Friday. I am so excited. It's going to be good. I'm very curious. I was talking to Thomas, my boyfriend, today, and we were like, do we think that Brandy and Monica are just going to sing like re-record their old song and put it over it? Are they going to get a verse? Are they going to sing over the chorus like Ariana did on Fallon? Like, I'm very curious how they're going to intertwine themselves into this song. Regardless, I'm excited. Cannot wait. We will chat about it next week. And you know what? I'm going to make sure I listen to Dopamine, Normani's album this week so I can talk about it next week because I do feel really guilty. I don't know why I feel guilty, but I feel bad that I didn't listen to it because I've been talking about it. Your boy's been busy, and I don't want to listen to anything but Brat. Like I can't help it. There is nothing else on my mind but 365 Party Girl. Like that's it. Editing Andrew popping in, I just realized I completely forgot to mention the fact that Paris Hilton's releasing a song with Rina Sawayama this weekend. We will chat about it. It's coming out on Friday. We'll talk about it next week. Back to the episode. That being said, we got through our releases fast today. There really isn't much going on. I feel like we're coming up to a little bit of a lull, and then we're going to have more releases probably later this year, but that is what is on the agenda music wise. And let's start the show by doing something I love to do: talk shit about straight men. We have two hot topics to talk about this week, and I am bursting at the seams to discuss the fact that A, Justin Timberlake was arrested for a DWI this week, and B, Scooter Braun is retiring from artist management. Thank God. These stories, when I saw them pop up, I was like, oh, bitch, we're about to have a field day. So let's hop into the first one. Justin Timberlake getting arrested in the Hamptons this morning on Monday, or Monday night rather, for a DWI. I famously am Justin Timberlake's biggest hater. If you've listened to the podcast since the beginning, A, thank you. B, he was literally my first mess of the week because I started the podcast the same week Britney Spears released her book. It just felt fitting. There are just no redeeming qualities of that man for me. He's continuously been just like a letdown. Cheated on his wife, the Janet Jackson Super Bowl situation, the Britney Spears of it all. Like, there was just so many signs pointing to Justin Timberlake not being a good person. And I love to see any fall of him. Maybe that sounds harsh. Maybe that sounds rude. I don't really care. That being said, last night, Monday night, Justin Timberlake was caught driving while intoxicated. He was arrested in Sag Harbor, which is in the Hamptons out on Long Island. It's also like 40 minutes from where I grew up, which just makes it hit so much closer to home. You know, like knowing that somebody I don't like this much was arrested so close to where I grew up, it just feels right. And yeah, I mean, obviously, very happy that nobody was hurt. I'm happy that he was, they stopped him and they got him before he hurt himself, hurt anybody else. Like, obviously, I'm not wishing harm on anybody, but it is a good day to be Janet Jackson and Britney Spears. Like, to see him, his mugshot, first of all, there is no life behind those eyes. What was he drinking and what was he on? There is no way. You cannot convince me that it was just alcohol. That man was on a bender. Whatever he was doing, wherever he was, that man was having a party. And I want to know. I want to know what he was drinking. I want to know what was going on because Mr. Timberlake was definitely not seeing 2020. I'll tell you that. Like he was definitely not all there. And yeah, the picture of him in handcuffs walking out of the police station rather, loved it. Just brought me so much joy. And maybe this sounds evil. Maybe this sounds like, why are you preying on somebody's downfall? I just think when you have continuously shown to be a bad person year after year after year after year, I'm looking at you, Chris Brown. I'm looking at you, Morgan Wallen. I'm looking at like all of the straight men who just continue to skate by and fly by being shitty people. I love to see any of them in a predicament. Morgan Wallen getting arrested a few weeks ago or months ago, whenever that was. Loved it. Chris Brown, I'm sure he's gonna punch someone or something in the next few weeks, and I love to talk about that. Like, I just love to see people who have done bad things get knocked off their high horse because these men just like roam through life and think that, like, oh, yeah, I've done bad things and I'm a shitty person, but I can get away with it because I've done it before. And even though they will continue to get away from it because our system is fucked, it just makes me happy to know that, like, they can slip up and they can get, knocked off their horse and get some, sense knocked into them for 4 hours before they go right back to what they were doing. But that being said, hope you had fun last night being, obtained by the police, Justin. And the next man that we are roasting is Scooter Braun. So if you are unfamiliar with who Scooter Braun is, I'm sure everybody listening to this knows who he is, but on the off chance that you do not, he is essentially the reason why we get Taylor's versions from Taylor Swift. He bought Taylor's masters a few years ago, and he is really the reason why, like, now she has to re-record all of her music because he wouldn't sell it back to her. Like, that was a whole drama. On top of him also being I will say he has done some killer management for some artists like Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato. Like, he has managed top talent and he is very good at what he does, but that does not mean he is a good person by all means. I feel like most corporate men are really good at their job, but really bad people is like a trade-off, you know what I mean? So Scooter has announced that he is retiring from artist management. Thank God. I feel like anytime anybody works with him, anything goes on with him, there's just drama tied to it. He seems sleazy, he's kind of like a rat, like, I don't know. Not my vibe. He's not retiring completely. He's going to focus on his side project, which is Hybe. I believe it's like a social media type platform that he's launching. Not really sure. Don't really care what he's doing. Don't plan on looking into it more. I skimmed a few tweets and that's really what I could get from it. Like, artists can join it to share exclusive content kind of vibe, which if you've been in the fandom space for years, anytime there is a new platform where artists can go on and share exclusive content with people, it never really works. I feel like there's been so many, specifically like the Jonas Brothers. I feel like they have done so many fan exclusive apps and websites and this and that. And like it lasts for 3 months and then it kind of falls under. So I'm sure that this will follow suit, but we will see. I won't be seeing, I probably won't be keeping up with it. But that being said, it just felt so good to start an episode during Pride Month talking shit about straight men. You know what I mean? Like, get that out. Like, it is our month. I love to see bad straight men failing. And yeah, I just wanted to, get that out, really just like set the scene for the episode because now we're going to talk about some fabulous girly pops. First up, Sabrina Carpenter sat down. What a switch. First up, Sabrina Carpenter sat down with the Rolling Stones and gave a killer interview, and there is so much to talk about. So I think the biggest thing that I took away from it was the whole Skims and Taylor Swift of it all. She pretty much, they asked her, they were like, what was that conversation like? Which is kind of bold for them to ask. Like, I feel like there's like an unspoken rule of just like, you don't question things in the realm of Taylor Swift. I don't really know why, but it's just kind of been like the thing. Who knows? But she said there was never anything weird about it. She told Taylor she was doing it. It was very like communicative. I don't think Taylor would ever tell somebody not to do something in this day and age. Maybe a few years ago it would have been different, like that whole bad blood era kind of vibe. Like then I feel like there would have been more of like a don't cross me kind of vibe. But I think now she's at a point where she's like, no matter who works with who, and that check had to have been huge for Sabrina. So if Taylor got in the way of her doing that, honestly, it would have been kind of shitty and just like not a good thing to do as a friend. So I'm glad that Sabrina address that. I'm glad that was kind of cleared off the table because I was curious about it. And then it kind of gives us the idea of like when Brittany Mahomes did it, fine. When Lana did it, it was fine. Like we knew Taylor had to be fine with it because you can't, as much as her and her fans think that she is the end all be all, her word goes, she's not. She doesn't need to like, you know, control what everybody does and this and that. I'm not getting into that whole side quest because I'm sure the Swifties will have me at my neck. But that being said, Taylor had no issue with Sabrina doing Skims, as we kind of assumed. She also is talking about the fact that Jack Antonoff has produced half of the songs on Short and Sweet. And now this leads me to my next point. When did everybody decide that they hated Jack Antonoff? Because, like, why? He has done nothing but produce killer music, and everybody is just boring. When did we decide that we didn't like Jack Antonoff? Like, you're gonna tell me you don't like Jack Antonoff and then not listen to Norman fucking Rockwell, Melodrama, Reputation. There is so much fantastic music that Jack Antonoff has produced, let alone Bleachers. I don't listen to them that often, but anytime I do listen to Bleachers, it is incredible. Like their music is so good. His production style is great. I don't understand the backlash. And when everybody decided to hate Jack Antonoff, it just seems like everybody wants something to complain about and everybody wants someone to just like target and like blame for a thing. I don't even know. It just makes no sense to me. Jack Antonoff, they could never make me hate you. I am so excited that you are producing half of Sabrina's album. I personally cannot wait, and Sabrina can't wait either. She said in the interview, I think he's one of the most talented people I've ever met. When he's in a room, he's able to literally touch every instrument in the room and make it sound magical, which, like, is exactly what Jack Antonoff does. People get mad because he adds too much synth to a song. But it's the same songs that are number one, number two, number three, number four, and five on your Spotify Wrapped every year. Like, you can say you hate Jack Antonoff as much as you want, but you are still streaming every single song he produces. Like, he is a killer producer. I think this weird hate train that everybody has on him, it's just like people trying to be annoying and be different. It's weird. Stop trying to, like, go against the grain. Jack Antonoff is a killer producer, whether you like it or not, and I cannot wait to hear what he does on Sabrina's album. She also talked about Mr. Barry Keoghan, who you guys know I love the two of them together more than anything, and they pretty much asked about their relationship, and I thought her answer was very interesting. She said, how can I skirt around this? The dating pool is the pool. When you meet people that feel authentic and are so brilliant and amazing in every way, that's what you do. Which is just like, A, kind of funny she's not confirming it when clearly they're together. And B, like, when you find someone who is brilliant and amazing in every way, that's what you do. I love them. Oh my God, I love them so much. They're literally my favorite couple. I will eat up every single piece of Sabrina and Barry content there is. I loved it. So cute. And then the final thing from the interview that we're going to chat about, they ask her about how she feels when people get upset about specifically really her nonsense intros and the fact that she is kind of sex forward, talks about her sex life and her desires and things that she wants. And I think she answered perfectly. She said, those real moments where I'm just a 25-year-old girl who's super horny are as real as when I'm going through a heartbreak and I'm miserable. Point blank, period. Like, why do people get so mad when women are talking about their sex life? People are weird. People get too fixated on it. I love this answer. I love the way that she just kind of like keeps it real, tells it how it is. I mean, I guess the Barry thing, she kind of skated around a bit, but that aside, we all know that they're together. Obviously, I think that was just like her being cheeky and being fun with the question. And I also don't think celebrities owe us anything about their personal lives or relationships. So I thought the way she answered that was perfect. But for the most part, she really does keep everything, I feel like, 100. And she just kind of like tells it how it is, speaks her mind. I love her. She's a perfect pop star. Cannot wait for her new album. Ugh, I cannot wait. It's going to be so good. And that was our first little girly pop moment of the episode. There are plentiful, as you can assume, because, it's me. Next up, another girly pop who I just love with my whole heart, Miss Ariana Grande. So the second part of Podcrushed, Penn Badgley's podcast, came out this week, and she was talking some interesting game. So she says after the Met Gala performance, she went home and recorded 10 more songs. Personally, I think she performed Into You for the first time in years, and she was like, oh wait, I'm kind of that bitch. Let me get back in the studio. So I do think we will be getting an Eternal Sunshine Deluxe, which I am over the moon for. You guys know that is my number one album of the year right now. It is fantastic. I loved it. I love the rollout. I loved everything about it. And I am very excited for anything coming out of this era. And the fact that she is not just ending it and she's continuing to slowly roll it out is such a fun way to do it. I feel like so often, I mean, we're seeing it with a lot of artists this year. Release the album, do a little press, cut it. Ariana's taking a very interesting approach where she is continuing to like kind of breadcrumb us through it while she also does, Wicked promo and things like that. She's still obviously doing REM Beauty and things and whatever it may be. So like I mean, the album came out when in March, and we just got the Boy Is Mine music video. We're getting the remix this Friday. So smart to release them back to back. She's teasing a deluxe version. There's allegedly 3 more singles on the album. Like, she is doing this very smart. A, to keep us interested and kind of like fed through the year. And B, now she doesn't have to release another album for a while because she is doing it in a way that isn't milking the album to a point where it's like in our face because she kind of takes a step back for a few weeks and then comes back with it. Like she's doing a very good job at playing her chess pieces, and I'm very into it. I love whatever she is doing. So a second part of this album is exactly what I personally need from her. And then I also just have to point out the way that she lights up when she talks about Wicked is the most like adorable and cutest thing in the world. You can just tell how excited and proud she is to be a part of that movie and how much this role means to her. And she literally started crying when she was talking about this role and how special it was to her and how she went through so much training and vocal training and voice lessons and acting lessons before she even auditioned for the role. And she opened up a little bit saying how everybody was saying, obviously, you're the obvious choice, but it wasn't just handed to her. She auditioned, she did the work, she really went off the grid for a while to really almost like method act and get into the mindset for Glinda. And I think the work that she put in is now paying off because she's seeing how excited everybody else is for her to be in this role, which is quite literally the role of her lifetime. Like, she was born for this role, the way that she loves Cynthia, the way that she loves the whole cast. Like, I mean, we all know she loves Ethan, but she is so excited and so proud to be a part of this movie, and it just shows in every interview she's done. And we're nowhere even near the release of this movie. It's just like there's so much more to come for Wicked. The pre-save for the album just went live. I don't think there was a date for it. I didn't catch a date, but you can pre-save it. Like, we are getting closer to Wicked every single day, and I cannot wait. I am so freaking excited for that movie. And then the final thing that she mentioned on the podcast was actually like an afterthought. People were pointing out her voice change. She kind of had like a deeper voice at one point, got a little higher, then she got a little more like articulate with her voice. I don't know. She was apparently voice changing. People were saying, oh, here she is going back to her original voice and positions and whatever. And she commented and she said, I intentionally changed my voice placement from high to low, often depending on how I'm singing and how I'm doing. I've always done this. Bye. And I just love when Ariana claps back. She doesn't do it often, but when she does, it is just chef's kiss. I love it. She doesn't give a fuck. And that's what I love. I feel like she was one of those like teen actors or actresses, I guess, who was put through the ringer, and she's always kind of fought back to people like the haters. There's so many shady tweets of hers, which I always love. Whenever I see those threads on my timeline of like Ariana being shady on Twitter thread, I scroll through all of them no matter how many times I read it. It is so funny. And the fact that she just continues to do it. She's the same Ariana. She is not left. Like, I love that bitch. I'm just eating up every single thing she is doing. I cannot wait to see where this pans out, what else she has in store for Eternal Sunshine, for Wicked, for everything. Again, the Boy Is Mine remix comes out this Friday. I just love the bitch. Speaking of another bitch who I love and who I am so excited to be chatting about, Miss Katy Perry. So she's been teasing this KP6 era for a while, and she has finally announced that her comeback single, Women's World, is coming out July 11th with a music video on July 12th because everybody's releasing this year. So why wouldn't Katy Perry make her comeback to pop music in 2024? Regardless, I'm very excited. There's been some, when I say some, I mean a lot of chitter chatter online. People are already opening their mouths and like bitching about the snippet, complaining about who it's produced by, talking about this, talking about that. We'll get into it. And I'm just like, I understand your points and whatever, but can we just like let the song come out? Can we just enjoy the music? Let's see the rollout. Let's see the album. I mean, to be completely honest, Taylor Swift doesn't release the best lead singles and the albums end up being perfect. Me, We're Never Ever Getting Back Together. Like there's so many songs that people release as the lead singles and they're not great. And then the album comes out and the album is fantastic. And I just hate the way that people jump to conclusions that like, oh my god, this song's gonna be shitty because of a 10-second snippet. Can we be serious for 1 minute? And even if the song ends up not being good, can we wait till we hear the body of work before we just critique the whole era? People are like throwing it away, dismissing it. They're like, nope, not into it. I just can't. People are so annoying. Like, people are so goddamn annoying. That being said, there are some murmurs that it is produced by Dr. Luke, who obviously is very problematic. And I don't know if he did produce it. I don't know if it's true. It might just be rumors. People are always trying to tear Katy Perry down. There's a lot online right now, I feel like. But yes, people are saying that the song is produced by Dr. Luke. I don't know if that's confirmed, like I said, but am I thrilled about that? No, but I'm still gonna listen to the song. Like, and I feel like anyone who's being like, I'm not listening to it because of that, I just don't think that's true. Like I get it. I understand not listening to an artist because you don't support how, their views or the person they worked with or things like that. I 100% get that. And if that's your prerogative and what you do in your music listening endeavors, that is fine by me. I commend you. I don't blame you. But I'm not listening to a Katy Perry single. I'm sorry. Like, I'm a gay man. I grew up listening to Katy Perry. I'm not listening to this song because of that. Maybe that makes me problematic. Maybe I'm gonna get canceled for it. I don't really know. We will see. But regardless, obviously I'm not thrilled if that is the case. If she is working with him, obviously that's just like, what are you doing? There's so many producers in the world. But that being said, Kesha is chiming in allegedly again. We never know if these are really related, but timing is timing, and Kesha did tweet LOL last night, which I love Kesha. I love Katy. I love them both. And if that is about Katy, we are so back. Like that is so 2010 coded. Like Kesha and Katy Perry subtweeting each other. Well, I guess just Kesha subtweeting Katy, but like them subtweeting each other over something like that. Ooh, spicy. Like the girls are kind of fighting. And I'm kind of eating it up, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I know, again, I know it's not, we shouldn't support him, and I don't. I don't seek out his music. I don't, like, I'm not sitting here being like, oh, what is he working on? I could give two shits. I just talked so much shit about straight men at the top of the show. You guys know, not my thing. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I wasn't there when they picked the producer. I wasn't in the room with them. Sue me, I guess. Personally, I am very excited for whatever Miss Katy Perry has up her sleeve for this era. It comes out in July, like I said, which seems so far away, but it's literally 3.5 weeks away, which is both exciting that we're getting it so soon and also disgusting that July is in less than 3 weeks away. That is insane. Where is time going? Like, we are flying through 2024, and it's kind of terrifying. Like, am I the only one who's like, trying to like hold on and like buckle up for this year because we are literally more than halfway through. It's insane. Time is fake. I don't even know. I don't know. It's crazy. And with that, we have made it into our TV recap section of the episode. I did not watch The Kardashians last week. Do not sue me. It is Pride Month. I am busy. Give me a pass. I am sorry. But that being said, since I am gay, I did watch RuPaul's Drag Race this week, of course. And it is another day in the workroom, and the girls are pretty much roasting each other from start to finish of this episode, which I kind of love. Ru comes into the workroom, and we find out that the girls they're pretty much voting on superlatives, essentially, of the girls who's most likely to run for president, who's the most delusional, who's most likely to be known for their thick ass, like, superlative type thing, just normal drag race things. As they vote, whoever has the consensus and whoever votes for the most voted for queen gets a point. At the end of this thing, we find out that Georges ends up winning, and she wins not only money for her charity, but a beautiful benefactress badge, which is just like kind of crazy to think that they're winning badges for mini challenges. Badges were like the coveted item of the entire thing, and now they're handing them out like candy, I guess. So Georges does win, and then we find out that after they just roasted each other in the superlatives, now they are doing a roast, which I love a roast episode. It is so much fun. I just feel like it's a perfect way to kind of see the girls get shady with each other, but since they are in this like sisterhood, you get a pass. You know what I mean? Like you're able to say things that you wouldn't normally say to each other, but you get a pass because it's a roast and like it's the competition. I love a roast. Since Georges did win the mini challenge, she gets to pick the order. Chanel is first. She's actually excited for it, which is so weird. Going first in a roast is not easy, and I feel like the fact that Chanel was excited for it just kind of shows her confidence and the fact that she's like, I'm a host all the time. She literally says it. She's like, this is what I do. Put me wherever, I'm good to go. But she wanted to go first, so good for you, girl. Georges puts herself second. Then we have Plastique, Roxy, Vanjie, Angeria, Gottmik, and Nina is closing the show, which is shady boots on Georges' part. Closing it is probably even harder than opening it, I would say. They are, tit for tat. And Nina is not happy that Georges put her at the end. And I mean, I get it, but also somebody has to go last. Get over it. I feel like when you express that you're upset about going last, it almost is like a moment of weakness because you're showing that like, fuck, I don't think I can do this, which you're on All Stars, on a regular season too. Like, hey, you're on Drag Race, you are here for a reason, but especially on All Stars, like, you're there, you're back. You got asked back a second time for a reason. Bitch and moan in your confessional. Don't do it in the workroom. Don't let the girls see, don't let them see you putting yourself down. Don't be weak. Because as soon as they see weakness, they're going to get you. You know what I mean? That being said, they all end up killing it. Like, this roast was actually so good. I thought Chanel was the perfect opener. She killed it. Georges was hilarious. The way that she took Rue's notes so perfectly from the week before, came out in that boy drag, literally came out looking like she should have been on a construction site, but then was like, hey, oh my God, it was so good. Exactly the critique Rue gave her last week. She is applying it a week later. So smart of her. I thought it was genius. She was so funny. Plastique was third. She killed it. I am so proud of her. The way that she has been killing these comedy challenges. She was kind of struggling a bit at the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, with the acting challenges. She can do a runway. She can look pretty. We know that. But if you think back, like Snatch Game, she didn't do great. There was definitely, some blips. But then last week she was in the acting challenge. She killed it. This week she killed it in the roast. She's doing really well. I'm really, really proud of her. I think that character mindset that she has, where she said, like, oh, if I'm playing a character, I can be somebody else. Even if it is the slightest thing different from her, like, she was dressed as Sailor Moon. You're Plastic Tiara. Like, you still look pretty. You were still in a pretty outfit. Like, she wasn't really playing that much of a different character, but whatever it takes to get the job done, who cares? She killed it. I thought it was such a good idea, such a good tactic. Next up, we had Roxy, who she was fine. She bombed her roasts in the previous seasons on season 5 and All Stars 2. So I thought this was a much better expression of her roasting abilities. Vanjie, she's always funny. She was just Vanjie being Vanjie. She was hilarious. Angeria, my Southern Belle, always so funny. God, I love her. She killed it in the roast. Gottmik was hilarious, but she was only hilarious because there were Nikki Glazer's jokes. Let's talk about it. So, if you did not watch or you don't know, it was literally copy and paste Nikki Glazer jokes from one of her roasts that she has done. And Gottmik does not give a fuck. She which makes it even funnier, to be honest. Like, she literally tweeted, she was like, do you guys think the queens are all writing their own jokes? I'm obsessed with Nikki Glazer. I took her jokes, spun them for the show, and I went out and did it. Also, she was cut off this week. Whether it was good or not, it didn't really matter. She was not going to get the badge, even if she won. Like, it didn't matter. So, honestly, kind of a perfect week for her to completely plagiarize somebody's jokes because she couldn't get a badge anyway. I thought it was very, very interesting the way that she responded to this because I was like, oh, she really does not care. She is fully just owning it, doing her thing. pushing along with it. You know what? Good for her. And then we got Nina going last, who ended up doing phenomenal. I thought she did such a good job for somebody who was so worried to be closing the show. Like I said, everybody really did a really, really good job. Michelle even said this is one of the first roasts where every single queen did a good job. I have to agree. It was a really, really good roast. The runway, I'm gonna be honest, I did not love this runway. It was, I don't know, nobody really like blew me away. Nobody was great. Nobody was that bad where I was like, ooh, I hate that. But it's just then like, eh, I don't know. The runway wasn't that crazy for me. We then find out the winners of this week's challenge is Plastique and Angeria. Honestly, everybody really did do a great job this week, but I completely understand the two of them winning. And you guys know I am always here for Angeria winning anything. They go on to lip sync to Be My Lover by La Bouche, which is just like the typical perfect 90s club song. When it started, I was like, oh, this is a good song to lip sync to. Angeria devoured. Plastique once again didn't know the words, but I kind of love that she just owns it. She just like pointed at Angeria during the fast part and she was like, go ahead. And Angeria knew every single word to that fast part. I was kind of gagged. Not that she doesn't always blow me away, but I was like, oh, she knows the words. Like she studied, she was ready, and she was good to go. I loved it. And like I said, Angeria always wins in my heart, and she won this lip sync. Love to see it. She now has, what is that, 3 badges for Angeria? 2 or 3. I don't know. Regardless, she was cut off for a while. I'm very happy to see her getting a badge. And that is RuPaul's Drag Race for the week. And that concludes our show. But you guys know the drill. We don't end any episode here at Too Pop to Handle without discussing my yes and my mess of the week. My yes being something I'm loving, my mess being something I'm not loving. And we always start on a high note. So let's kick it off with my yes. Chappell Roan dressing as Divine at the Kentuckiana Pride this weekend was so incredible. Oh my God. So, over the weekend on Saturday, she performed at a Pride festival. Actually, our official Taylor Swift correspondent, Delaney, was in attendance, and she performed dressed as no other than drag icon Divine, which, if you don't know who Divine is, she is truly like an icon in just drag culture and gay culture. You've probably seen a photo of her, or you probably have heard one of her iconic quotes. She's most known for starring in John Waters' movie Pink Flamingos. She was out of her fucking mind. She's like a pillar in the queer community. And there was just something so incredibly like heartwarming and just like gets me so excited to see a queer artist having commercial success the way Chappell Roan is, but she's still paying such good respect to the queer community, whether it's through having drag queens open for her on every show that she does, coming out dressed as Divine. She knows her references. She always references a drag queen. The whole your favorite artist is Sasha Colby. Like she is so good about paying homage to the queer community roots, whether it's drag queens, her being, obviously she's a part of the community. Like there were just so many ways that she continues to give back to our community, not just in Pride Month like most of these bitches do. She is on it. Even last night, she was literally at Pieces, which is a bar in the West Village, at just like a local drag show. Went in regular clothes, she was wearing a camo t-shirt, her like chilling, doing her thing, just enjoying a drag show. Like it's incredible to see an artist as big as Chappell Roan right now blow up and still continue to support the community that she loves and is a part of so much. It just warms my heart. It made me so happy when I saw the photos of her like that. I literally freaked out. It was so good. I just love her. And my mess for the week is actually piggybacking off of Chappell Roan, but not anything to do with her specifically. It's this discourse online, and it stems from Chappell this week, but it's kind of just like a general thing. Nobody knows what the word industry plant means anymore. I feel like anytime any artist gets any lick of success, instantly, industry plant, they're an industry plant, nope, they're an industry plant. Can we like take a step back, put our phones down for a second, and think about what an industry plant actually is? Because it's not Chappell Roan, it's not Sabrina Carpenter, it's not Olivia Rodrigo. Let's be like, an industry plant is somebody who literally came out of nowhere, who hasn't been working since they were a kid, who hasn't been doing shows and music for 10 years and finally getting their big break. It is somebody who literally has one hit single and then continues to blow up and just continues and continues and continues. Not somebody who has worked for 5, 10, 15 years and finally gets their big break. Yes, commercial success has come very quick to a lot of the artists that I just named, but they were putting their work in before that. And it's not just the people that I just named. There's so many artists that continuously get called industry plants. And I'm just like, can we know our terms before, we start throwing it around? And it's not even me coming as like a stan of the artist that I named. Specifically this week it was Chappell Roan. There's like a viral tweet going around saying like she's obviously an industry plant, right? No, absolutely not. Use your brain for a second. Put the phone down, maybe get off of Twitter and log on to LinkedIn, log on to Indeed, maybe find a job, maybe go to dictionary.com, whatever it takes for you to like get through your skull to know what an industry plan is before you're throwing this around. Just do that for me next time before you hit tweet. All right? Thank you so much. And with that, that is the end of our episode. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode of Too Pop to Handle. If you liked what you heard, make sure you leave us a rating, give us 5 stars, leave us a review. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you give us a big thumbs up. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know your favorite industry plant. Let's chat about it. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. If you would like to follow us on social media, we are at 2pop to Handle on all platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. If you're interested in following me on Twitter, my personals are at Andrew Nucatola. Everything will be linked in all of my descriptions down below. And like I say every single week, if everybody listening to this sends it to one friend, I'll double the listeners. Simple math. It is easy as that. And with that, I will catch you guys next week. Bye.